The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision. Today's guest and their company are not affiliated with or endorsed by LPL Financial.
So, Kristen, what were you doing before the Scout Guide?
So I was in oil and gas, oddly enough. I started in oil and gas in 2017. I moved to Abilene in 2014. And I was going through this lull where we got bought by a corporation. It was a mom and pop, and everything was going really well. I was making great money, and as soon as things started going corporate, it just gets uncomfortable, and I was just uneasy, and so I was in oil and gas before, and then that uncomfortability kind of led me to looking into other options.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah, as people get stuck on what's a really good job, and it kind of feels like when you know the people who own it, when it feels local, you feel like you have a real connection to it, and there's real people who are running it. It usually leads people to stay for a lot longer versus corporate kind of comes in. I think you do have kind of a culling of people who don't really mesh well with that kind of a culture.
Yeah, when I first started that job, I was going to stay forever. I thought it was really cool. I loved the aspect of it being technical, but also like the networking side of it, and it just definitely took a really hard turn whenever it wasn't so mom and pop anymore.
So what brought you then into marketing and kind of talking about other people's business and advertising for other people's business? It seems like a very kind of far off jump. So what got you into it?
Yeah, it is kind of niche. So when I moved to Abilene in 2014, I was just looking for anything to get me here. My first husband, who I'm still married to. My husband, he was in the police academy.
Okay.
And so I was living in Fort Worth trying to find something to do here locally just to get me to Abilene. And I landed with the area-wide phone book. So
Really?
I had been in the mix of knowing locally owned businesses, getting to visit with people about their businesses. And what I found at that time is that most people really wanted to share with you, and they were really interested in what brought me here too. So the people of Abilene are really cool in that aspect, where I've been in marketing, but that wasn't my draw. As I said a second ago, that wasn't my draw to start the Scout Guide. My draw for the Scout Guide was my cousin had brought it to a family get-together, and she said, hey, you should do this. And it was the West Texas Guide, so that's Midland, Odessa. And she said, you should do this. It's you would be really good at it. And I was like, I really like my job. I'm staying here forever. I don't need to add something else to my plate. No. And so I set it on my coffee table, didn't think about it again. And then my other cousin was featured in the Lubbock Guide, and she brought it to a family get-together. And I was like, And this was the time when I was going through turmoil with my current job, and I was like, okay, maybe I need to revisit this. And so it just kind of kept reappearing in my life, and it seemed kind of like a God thing, and I needed to pursue it, or at least get more information about it. And
Did you ever think about doing your own version of it, or what brought you to actually going ahead and purchasing and doing a franchise of it?
Yeah, so we have a few wonderful publications here. And I thought we already had enough of that. I thought our bases were covered here locally in Abilene. We have The Scene, we have South Abilene Living, and I think at the time there was a Tuscola version of all of that, and I think those people do a really great job at that, and I liked that the Scout Guide was something completely different. I liked that it was just a beautifully curated publication instead of just a bunch of wording. You're introducing people to the business owners, and I really liked that, and it seemed like I could not reproduce that quality on my own without the franchise.
I kind of feel like in Abilene, there's a lot of redoubling of efforts to try to recreate something
Yeah.
that's already been fully fleshed out
Yes.
and made as
Yes.
efficient as possible. And
Yes.
so I think that, I don't know, sometimes with entrepreneurs, people newer to business, they have this mindset, I have to go out and create my own thing because that will somehow be better.
Yeah.
One of the benefits with a franchise is you get a fleshed out version.
Yeah.
You get to say, you know what, I can make my own spin on this, but this is what it's already looking like. This is the success that it's already had in other markets. Can it work for mine? And I think that's, I don't know, it's just an interesting kind of
The general
thing to jump into
roadmap
it.
is there, like you're saying, but you get to make it your own. And that is the cool thing about the Scout Guide is they really are pretty hands off. You know, if you you stay within their guidelines, of course, you know, there's the typical like use this logo, use this color, use this font. Well, it's a beautifully curated thing anyway. So, of course, I want to do all of those things to make it uniform. But, yeah, they really stay out of your business and let you be creative with, you know, your business model. So that's pretty cool.
Awesome. So for someone who hasn't seen a Scout Guide before, how do you explain what it is to them, or how can they understand it better?
Yeah, well, if you haven't seen it, here it is. But it is a beautifully curated publication. It comes out once a year. And it is meant to introduce the local business owners here in Abilene. So you can see the people behind Vagabond Pizza that make it, that are the heart and soul of that business. People really like to buy from people they know. And my goal is, with the Scout Guide, to introduce you to those people. And I think it's meant to be loved and cherished over time. I think that was a huge draw for me, is that it wasn't just a publication you toss in the trash. It is something that you collect and love year over year. So I think just that's, in essence, that's how I would describe it to somebody that's never seen it before.
Oh. What allows the guide to have such a curated, professional look that's maybe different than what someone's used to kind of thumbing through and seeing ads for different businesses?
Yeah, so we use, well, I'll get technical, I guess. So we use a hardcover. It's a mix between like a cardboard and a beautiful, I guess, cardstock paper that you would print wedding invitations on or what have you. But each ad or spread, as we call it, is curated to the business. So like you and I sat down and we had a creative meeting, and I think that just upholds the quality of it. We're really tailoring these things to the business owner, less than just kind of being like, oh, hey, hold this thing and let's make it look cool. Like, we really want it to show your personality, versus, I guess, just look cool. So the quality of it, they're all printed at the same printer. It's Walsworth, and we share printer space with 100 other guides. So
wow.
They're all quality checked. Every single guide that comes through there is quality checked. So I have 15,000 guides. I believe other markets buy anywhere from 20 to 30,000 guides, depending on their population. So each one of them is quality checked and runs through a printer, and they're all the same. So the printer knows our standards, and so they know what to expect, and we expect that they deliver on that quality every time.
Yeah. I would say what it's definitely not, just kind of my kind of thoughts of what I've experienced, what I've seen from other products in the past, is it's usually, hey, this is that person's logo or their ad that they've used for pretty much every publication, business card, whatever they may have, and they just kind of get stuck on a bunch of different pages with completely different businesses, with having no real option or choice of who they're by, how they're representative whatsoever. It's kind of, hey, this is what I have, place it wherever I'm paying for that, versus what you're offering, which is very much of the photo shoots, actually allowing everything to tie together really well. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, many many markets do it different. For me, it's important, and I think for Abilene too, we're just such a different community than a lot of other places in the U.S. that do have the Scout Guide. Where we are still small and we all do still live, 5 minutes from each other. I think we live like 2 minutes from each other. Right. We didn't even know it. Right. So, I could see you out running or walking in this neighborhood. So I think we're so in tune with all that it is important that our marketing matches, and it's kind of the same across the board. There's a lot of markets that don't let you use your photos on billboards. I don't care. I love that. I like that, you can have the same photo for your ad in the Scout Guide that you can have on your billboard. I think it just makes everything cohesive. And I think that's a great service that we can give to people too, because we're giving you a gallery of photos so you can make your marketing cohesive across the year, over the year, and year over year too. When we do that next photo shoot for the next guide, you don't have to be stuck with the same photos every year of your team or of yourself. You get new headshots, and it's creative and something different every year. So I guess we kind of enable people to have like a cool, different marketing campaign without having to like really go into depth and think about it. We bring you a creative meeting and we tell you what we kind of think we want for you, and then we go from there. And we do that every single year.
Awesome. So business owners are pretty much always being sold different products. They're being bombarded by a lot of media, a lot of digital media specifically.
Yeah.
With the mindset of, hey, this is going to revolutionize and keep you current, keeping you kind of on trend, whatever the verbiage may be that they're typically trying to sell the product with.
Yeah.
Why do you think having a physical print copy, how is that still relevant to maybe business, not only just in the country, but business in Abilene specifically?
Yeah. Since we've launched our first guide and we're working on volume 2, I've heard a lot of people say, oh my goodness, I saw my dentist in there, or I saw my eye doctor in there, or like, oh my goodness, that's my neighbor. So I've seen a lot of that, and I think a lot of it is brand recognition. You're tying in that brand recognition with a few other things, but people, so the phone book, it's dead, whatever. And I think print is coming back. People want something tangible to hold in their hands, to love and keep, and that's what we're creating with the Scout Guide, is something tangible. And it's print's back. We're here. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
You also do have a digital version as well.
Yeah. So we're like I was saying, you are buying the guide essentially. That's the biggest portion of it. And I think it's something tangible, like I was saying, you can hold and keep with you for the client. But then on the flip side of that, we also offer digital support. So right now we have a little over 2,100 followers on our Instagram, and I think a little over 600 on our Facebook. We're working on that. But you're getting in front of a different audience, your content, again, brand recognition. We're pretty well followed on stories and posts, and truly like, if we're collaborating on a post and you're resharing it, I'm resharing it, most likely you're going to see about 3,000 to 2,000 views on that post. And that's like analytics and stuff like that. So we're supporting you in that way too, getting you in front of a different audience, and kind of a luxury audience too. And then the flip side of that, we just want it to be a well-rounded bundle. So we also offer in-person networking events. Okay. And I think the in-person networking events are really where you get the bang for your buck. Right. If you're intentionally creating a relationship with these other folks that are in the guide, you're amplifying your word of mouth marketing. If I, for instance, the eye doctor in the book is Russ Lyles, and I don't wear glasses, but my dad does, my mom does, one of my greatest friends does, and then there's a new gal in town that I just met, and she does as well. So that's 4 people that I've referred to Russ just through knowing him. Not because we grew up together, not because it's purely through the Scout Guide. So building that, and I puff my chest out a little bit too, because I'm like, wait, I just got Russ some business, like that's so cool. But I think most people get a little joy out of sending somebody your way. For sure. So when you're in a room with people networking and you have 100 people that have your back and are saying like, hey, you need to use Steve for this service, right, then that's just amplifying your word of mouth marketing. And I think word of mouth and networking are they're the most productive forms of marketing for sure.
My first time that I saw the guide, I definitely kind of had this immediate reaction to realizing how cohesive it was. And I was like, it kind of seemed like a book of all these people are just hanging out together and I'm not invited. Okay. So I was like, oh, that seems like a great group then.
All these people
That's
are
how you
hanging
know.
out
Yeah,
together,
they don't
I'm
let
not
me in.
invited.
It must be a really good one. And
That's
what
funny.
you've done with kind of doing the networking aspect of it is you're kind of making that true. You're trying to blend together their businesses, and so that when one person's proud of them being inside of your guide as well, they're also thereby marketing every other business.
Yes, absolutely.
And so especially 'cause it seems like they kind of give away copies and, hey, check me out. Well, guess
Yeah.
what? Look at all the other pages for some pretty awesome people that I'm meeting as well.
Yes, absolutely. And when you say giving away copies, that makes me think the biggest surprise to me through member distribution has been that people are just knocking down the door to get it. Like, if you go sit in your doctor's office or your dentist's office, like, make sure that you're taking it with you when you leave. So many people are like, wait, can I take this?
Really?
I'm like, please, yes, take it. So if you see it out in
That's
public,
awesome.
grab
Yeah.
that thing and take it with you. The Mill has distributed over 400 guides,
Wow.
and that's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully they're going to do twice as many for the second one.
Right.
The Scout Guide exists in a lot of different cities. What have been some kind of maybe stories that you've heard about different markets and versus how you think our market's growing?
Well, we have over 100 markets. I think
Oh,
I
wow.
said that a bit ago.
Yeah.
But Texas alone has 16.
Okay.
We have a group text, and it's really cool. It's a sisterhood that I really never thought I needed. But we talk, I mean, I was chatting with them before I came in here. We talk quite a bit, maybe, once a week if something big is coming up. But the biggest thing I've seen is that no market is the same. And I've taken a few ideas this year from other markets, and I think a really cool way that a lot of the markets give back, and my favorite idea that I've seen is that we do a deal for nonprofits. One here in a bit, I guess probably as soon as I leave you, I'll go start a campaign called Scouting for a Cause, and I will award, so essentially we'll put it out there like, hey, we are scouting nonprofits, and then people will vote for their nonprofits, and we'll put their logo out on a social media slide, and people will just go crazy voting for them. And it's really cool. So the 2 nonprofits that win this, they get a free page in the Scout Guide with full membership to the Scout Guide for that year.
Wow.
So that puts them in a room with people that could be potential donors, people that could be potential board members. So that is one of my favorite things about the Scout Guide, and that's just something we do locally. I think Abilene loves their nonprofits, and that's something that I chose for us. However, adding in this other portion of it, this came from my friend Ashlyn in Southlake. She does a deal with nonprofits where she gives them a discounted spread if they didn't, because she doesn't run the Scouting for a Cause like I do. She does run it, but not in that capacity. So she will offer them a spread at a discount if they will offer her a table for their large events. So I've done that with a couple of nonprofits this year, and my goal with those nonprofits is to fill those chairs with other members. So people who are in the Scout Guide, and just getting them, again, they could be potential donors for those nonprofits. So I think it's a really cool way for the Scout Guide and its members to give back. That's my favorite thing that I think I've taken from another market.
That's super cool. What have been some things that have made made certain markets a little bit more successful than maybe others?
I think obviously income, like the average income does help, you know. Our ads are cheaper than West Texas because we're not in oil and gas here. I mean, some people are, but I would say the people that get out there and hustle every day and are having conversations are just going to be way more successful. People that are always innovating and adding new things to their guide, or not even their guide, to their online presence, just people that are continuously evolving. That's the cool thing about the Scout Guide, is it doesn't have to just be the book. We're going to add on for volume 3, and I mean, I'm saying this as like soon as we launch volume 2, we're going to add on the ability to do brand videos. So that's going to be an add-on for our clients. we're not sure what the pricing is going to be, but that gives you something you can cherish until the guide is printed, because there's a lot of waiting time when you're associated with the Scout Guide, especially if you re-up immediately after it launches. Sure. So I think the coolest thing is the people, or the best thing is the people that are always changing and evolving with their business. That's who you see being really successful.
Wonderful. What part of being a part of a larger brand has helped you do stuff that you probably couldn't do solo? You may have spoken a little bit about this earlier, but just kind of what has allowed you, just by being in part of this network, being part of this very large, growing thing, has allowed you to do some things that maybe if you did it on your own, you might be a couple years away from where you are right now, maybe.
I think brand recognition is a huge portion of it. I want to say when I bought my franchise, there was 90 markets in the U.S. Now there's 100, maybe 101. So we're really well known, and it's changing every single day how many we're bringing on, the notability. Now the Scout Guide is going into these other cities and almost doing a tour of the U.S. where, like, if we don't have a franchise there, they're like looking for people to do the franchise in that city. When I think that brings brand awareness to the Scout Guide, even if they don't find an editor for that, they're still actively helping us get brand recognition. I think that's really cool. This is selfish, but they set up my Facebook page, they set up my Instagram, they set up my website. The only thing that I've done is set up my YouTube channel, and that's it. So I think that's been a huge help. They set up our emails. That's a huge help. You know, we pay a slight fee for technology.
Sure.
And we're rocking and rolling. You're up and running the second you sign your paperwork, so that's cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, that definitely makes things a little bit more streamlined than the typical route.
Yeah, like, who do I use for my website? Well, they got it figured out for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Beyond new customers, long-term benefits for businesses that you're working with, what are you kind of seeing?
I'm seeing a lot of, and I kind of touched on this as far as network, like with Dr. Lyles, that was just an example. But just some really cool ways that people have collaborated, I feel like. My friend Caitlin Young, who was the very first client of the Scout Guide, it's the Scouted Stitch. And she, and then the guys from Cedar Gap Wealth Management, they have a marketing gal named Taylor. And Taylor is really, really involved in the Buffalo Gap Chamber of Commerce. And so last year they brought the Smithsonian and the Gap to Buffalo Gap, and they were having this huge party, and Taylor was wondering, do you know anybody that would monogram a bunch of wild rags for me, or scarves? And I was like, I got a girl, don't you worry. So It's really cool to create that network where there's one person that you can go to, me. I'm sure you could ask any of the other members too, and they would have told you this, but you can go to me, and I'll have probably an answer for you of like 5 people. And I was like, Caitlin would 100% love to do that. And so Caitlin ended up doing live monogramming at the opening night of the Smithsonian and the Gap for Buffalo Gap. So I thought that was like a really cool thing that had come out of the guide. Obviously, really cool relationships. I've seen a lot of friendships come out of it, which is neat. Just really great. Just longevity in relationships has been the biggest thing coming out of the guide.
Did you have a lot of your members renew after the first year? They were part of Volume 1. They said, you know what, I really loved this. I want to be a part of this again.
Yeah. I would say, we could flip through here and I'll tell you everybody that's coming back. But no, I would say I had about a 70% renewal rate, which I think is really good.
That's pretty high, for marketing.
Yeah. So we expect, quite a bit of new people this year. Welcome to the guide. But yeah, we expect a lot of new people, and it's really taken off, and people believe in it. And I think that makes me feel good that I'm building something, and that is my goal truly for the Scout Guide, is just to continue building something that people want to be a part of. Because at the end of the day, it really is them trusting and believing in what I'm doing, because the Scout Guide doesn't do what it does unless it has somebody behind it pushing it. So
absolutely. So when you do have a new member, and you typically have a new member post, and the term is scouted that you use, what are you wanting that to mean?
I just want it to mean, hey, look, this person's joining the guide too. check this person out, go look at their website, go look at their Instagram, like get to know this person because they're in our community now. So just kind of a welcome to our community and, putting that out there for people to see that we have somebody new.
Yeah. Who would be a good fit in your mind for this kind of marketing, or who maybe not?
I think you and I talked about this the other day. Anybody that I don't feel is like very invested in their network, or not necessarily me, but you can tell when people aren't invested in their network or networking in general. I don't think this is a book for them. If you're not going to the networking events, you're not getting a return on your investment, not near as much as you would be if you showed up. I think it's so important to show up for those things. So if you're not a networker, this is probably not for you. I mean, if you want to just have your picture in the guide, by all means, come on, but don't be expecting to get just a huge return on your investment from it. And then, I think that kind of answers both sides of that. Like, we want people that want to be present. So, just building that community around the guide and showing up for things is just a huge bonus. So,
I would definitely say people who are actively a part of their business and working towards their business.
Yeah, people who love Abilene.
Yeah.
That is a huge thing. People who want to get to know new people.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so kind of zooming out, maybe 5 years, 10 years down the road of you doing this, what kind of effect are you wanting to have with this business?
Yeah, so I want to clarify too on like what the guide is. It's not meant to be exclusive. It's meant to be, and this is where I'm going with this, is I want it to be a true guide for the city. So like your best of the best may not be my best of the best. I may know too much about your dentist, but my dentist is wonderful. You know what I mean? Like Abilene's still a small town. So I want to recommend several different people for this one business category. So in that, I want it to be a true guide to the city. I don't want it to feel like, the elite good old boys society. I want it to feel like a community, and I want to keep building on that community. And I want people to feel comfortable and like they're at home when they're at these events or whenever they're sitting and visiting with their network. And that's truly what I want it to be, is just a community and a place where people can be like, you know what? I don't have a orthodontist. I need to pick up the Scout Guide and check on that. So
I would imagine with the growth that Abilene's experiencing and is hoping to be experiencing in the next 5 to 10 years as different industries are coming in, I kind of feel like something like this is even more necessary than probably before, maybe 10 or 20 years ago when Abilene just wasn't growing at as much of a clip. You kind of, you still had your network of, hey, who do I ask about this? Who do I go to? There's so much of an influx of people who are newer to Abilene that I kind of feel like this is a great time for something like this where, hey, I don't know anybody here, but I still need great services done. I still have to go to an eye doctor. I still have to buy and sell a house and those kinds of things.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Cool.
And it is truly, it has been a blessing. I feel like I didn't anticipate, all of this new growth that we're having. I had heard murmurs here and there, but nothing had been proven when I went into the franchise, I guess, research per se. But the growth has been a huge blessing to my business, and I'm sure a lot of people around town too. So it just all ended up working out. So
that's awesome. Anything else that you've been just kind of surprised about since starting the guide?
Just how open people are to hearing what you have to offer. And I think it's just a testament to Abilene too. The people here are so nice. Business owners want to learn about your business. People want to collaborate. It's very cool. I met with a guy this morning who's opening his own physical therapy clinic. And it is just, he reached out and said, I just want to know more about your business. And not even necessarily to purchase anything, just to create a relationship. And I think that's been so surprising to me, is how welcoming that Abilene has been with the Scout Guide. And I'm just super blessed that it's been received the way that it has been.
Yeah, that's awesome. Advice for someone considering purchasing a franchise?
Do your research.
Yeah.
Make sure your profit is going to be there. the Scout Guide has a really great margin for profit, because that's why we get in business for ourselves, right?
Sure.
We want to take a bigger piece of the pie. And I think make sure that you're finding a franchise that you're getting a decent amount of profit off of your each sell, and then make sure it's a good fit for your lifestyle. The Scout Guide is really cool because there is kind of a dead season, so if you're going to take a vacation, like that's the time to do it. You make your own schedule. You don't have somebody being like, well, you've only sold X amount of pages, like you need to get to work. It's not your typical corporate thing. So if you thrive in a setting where you're your own boss, get you a franchise. It's great. And then once you've done all your research and make sure it's a good fit, go for it. And don't ever let your foot off the gas.
Yeah, it's awesome. What is something that you're excited about right now?
Oh, we have photo shoot season coming up.
Okay.
I love photo shoot season. We have creative meetings. I love the aspect of going from your photo shoot to a hairdresser's photo shoot or a marketing firm. They're all so different, and it's just the coolest thing. And then I get to sit there and make this person feel the best that they can feel for an hour to 45 minutes.
Awesome.
And hopefully they walk out of there just happy as a clam. So
Yeah.
I love photo shoot season. I love the creativity behind it.
Awesome. What is something that you're working on right now? It could be personal, it could be for your business, just something that you're actively working towards.
I would like to sell 30 more pages.
Really?
Yeah, so when I started this, I was doing the Scout Guide and my oil and gas job. It was driving me crazy. I was stressed all the time. So now I'm just doing the Scout Guide, and I think to get to a place where I'm very comfortable and can pay off like a truck or just make a big payment towards something, so we're lowering our monthly money out. I think that would be great. That's my big goal right now. Something I'm looking forward to is I think it's doable. We have a short amount of time to do it. And when I say we, I mean me.
Sure.
So,
It's the
me and the
royal we.
community of
It's
Abilene,
the royal
please.
we, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's my biggest goal right now is to get out there and do that. And I'd love to find businesses that I don't have a repeat of in the guide, or this is what I was going to tell you earlier. You don't have to be scouted to be a part of the Scout Guide.
Okay.
You can come to me, you can DM me, you can email me, anything. Everyone is welcome. And I was kind of getting there with that exclusivity thing.
Yeah.
It's not exclusive. We'd love to have you. There's just one of me. And
Right.
there's over 400 businesses in Abilene. So, once you're a part of the crew, I'll definitely promote you, but I got to find you first. So that's a huge thing. It's not exclusive. We'd love to have you. So.
Okay, awesome.
But yeah, I'd love to sell 30 more pages and
Okay.
kind of get a little comfortable not having an income.
Yeah, not worried about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the goal of anyone who's like been in business for like a few years.
Yeah.
Is like, okay, so when are we comfortable?
So when is this profit
Yeah,
coming?
is it 1 year? Is it 2 years? Is it 5 years?
Yeah.
And it's like, when does breathing happen again?
Yes.
Where you're just like, okay, it's
Yeah.
really easy to find a person who's been doing something for like 6 months to like a year or so, and they're of course sucking wind.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
I'm starving. It's terrible. Why am I
Yes.
doing this? And it's really easy to find people who've been doing it for 25 years who are just like, hey, I just got a new boat.
Yeah.
It's way better than my old boat. I'm not going to get rid of the other one. I just want a fleet.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, where do you bridge that? And just like
Yes.
navigating those early days, that's the hardest part.
my
and it's
goodness,
where
yes.
so many people quit
Yeah.
before it becomes great.
I'd like to pay myself back this year from the franchise
Yeah.
investment. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's a solid goal. That is a wonderful New Year's goal.
Yeah.
For sure.
Resolution for sure.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. What is something that you're curious about or learning about?
I would really like to be better at like the reels and stuff like that on social media. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't like paying for stuff like that. I know it sounds silly. It's necessary, But I'm like, wait, I can do this. I'm pretty creative. And I'm really picky too, like with the branding. So I think that's something in my 2026 I'd like to figure out is, and not even figure out, just make time for. I get so lost in like doing the static posts and all of that, but I think I would really enjoy getting creative with the reels, and probably sound like a boomer saying the reels.
No, I mean, what's sad is it probably sounds totally normal to me. I'm not having enough of a reaction that I probably should be. It's like, oh my gosh.
The reels.
The reels.
The reels.
Feeling reels around
The
here.
Walmarts.
The Walmarts.
Yeah. But I'd like to get into that a little bit, and then I'd like to put out a newsletter. And I don't want it to be obnoxious for my clients, but I'd like to do birthdays. I'd like to do anniversary posts for business anniversaries, like just anything that my clients are celebrating. I want to celebrate that with them. And I'd like to do that in the form of a newsletter that just goes out to everybody who follows the Scout Guide. So you can follow our newsletter. You just go in and subscribe on the website, and you'll get all the things. But we haven't put one out in a while because my sweet little intern graduated and got married and now has a grown-up job, so I've got to figure out how to do the newsletter. So we'll get there.
That's awesome. Yeah, it kind of feels like everything around marketing, social media, websites, it all feels extremely accessible. Like, I could do that. But it's very difficult to do it at a high level. And I kind of feel like you're already doing the things that you're doing currently, you're already doing extremely well.
Thank you.
So I wouldn't imagine that would be any different too. But it definitely is an investment of time for sure.
Yeah, I can definitely add anything to the website. We got that. We're good there.
For me, the difficulty, it's not even like, hey, I can do something well. It's the consistency.
Yes.
I think that's what I'm working on for like this next year, just like keeping things consistent, always have something coming out every week, just like that ordinary grind of every single week of just kind of building.
Yeah.
It's the trickiest part for me, where it's like I can do something well a few times, but with regularity, it becomes a completely different puzzle.
Yeah, and it becomes easier too. Like whenever Cheney, my intern, left, she was doing the Member Mondays for me. So she would write the article, she would put it out on social media, put the link out, do the photo, then put it on the website. So when I first started doing that myself, it took me like 2 hours.
Easily.
And something that took her 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Now it takes me 45 minutes and we're good. But when I first started, it would waste like a whole day, and just I'd be so disappointed and just discouraged. And now you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it.
That's goal number 3 for you. I was like, and I will be bringing in another person to spend their 45 minutes at a time.
Yes. Yeah, somebody else learn the newsletter for sure. So
that's awesome. So where can we find you?
You can find me on Facebook at The Scout Guide Abilene, or you can find me on Instagram. That's our bigger profile. We keep up with it pretty good, and we're really interactive with our clients there. And that's at TSG Abilene. And we have a YouTube channel now with nothing on it, but it is.
But it is in existence.
It's at TSG Abilene, and that's where when we start doing those 45-second brand videos, you'll be able to find those there too. And then of course on social media. So yeah.
Very cool. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks. It's fun.
Appreciate it.